When did humans first occupy the Americas? Ask the Sloth bones. The discovery of ancient, handcrafted ornaments revives a long-standing debate about the arrival of the earliest Americans. The giant ground sloth first appeared in South America 35 million years ago. Some species were as hefty as modern elephants and, rearing upon their hind legs, stood more than 10 feet tall. The hulking herbivore, a distant relative of today's much smaller tree sloth, had massive jaws and powerful clawed limbs, and it may have served as inspiration for the mapinguari, a mythical beast that, in Amazonian legend, had the nasty habit of twisting off the heads of humans and devouring them. The giant sloth disappeared from the continent some 11,000 years ago, but fossil remains abound. 3 dating methods applied to 3 layers of sediment, osteoderms and charcoal particles at Santa Elena indicated that humans first left a mark on the oldest and deepest layer around 27,000 to 23,000 years ago. Since then, people have occupied the shelter at different times, from 17,000 to 13,000 years ago in the middle layer and after 6,000 years ago in the top layer, researchers say. The big question is, were those artifacts made by humans during their coexistence with the sloths? Said Miriam Liza Alves Foransoli Pacheco, an author of the study and an archaeologist at the Federal University of São Carlos in Brazil. Shaped like triangles and teardrops, the 3 peculiar sloth bones found in the deepest layer appeared to have been smoothed and perforated. Complete or partial holes were clearly drilled near the edges, as if they had been designed to be threaded on a string. Dr. Pacheco said. Microscopic markings suggested that the osteoderms and even their holes had been buffed by human hands. Neither natural abrasion nor animal bites could explain their texture and shape, said Thais Rabito Pansani, a paleontologist at the Federal University of São Carlos and first author of the paper. Further analysis revealed scratches going in different directions and stone tool gouges made a few days to a few years after the sloths had died, but before the bones had fossilized. In our view, the early humans who lived in the shelter fashioned the bones into personal ornaments, possibly pendants, that over time became worn from heavy use. Dr. Pansani said. This would make them the oldest known jewelry unearthed in the Americas and the only trinkets in the archaeological record known to have been made from giant sloth bone. The authors show very compelling evidence for an anthropogenic modification of the sloth bones, said Mercedes Okumura, an archaeologist at the University of São Paulo. Such a study can help to shed light on the use of adornments by the early Americans, as well as about the interaction between past humans and megafauna in the Americas. For thousands of years, Dr. Noel noted, the human body has been a site for the creation and expression of individual and group identity, and relics like giant sloth baubles play a vital role in that process. I love the fact that these beads are heavily worn from being strung or from rubbing against the skin, cloth or other beads, she said. That speaks to the value of these objects. It suggests they were worn for a long time. Evidence of artifacts made of giant sloth bones in central Brazil around the last glacial maximum. The peopling of the Americas and human interaction with the Pleistocene megafauna in South America remain hotly debated. The Santa Helena rock shelter in central Brazil shows evidence of successive human settlements from around the last glacial maximum, LGM, to the early Holocene. 2 Pleistocene archaeological layers include rich lithic industry associated with remains of the extinct giant ground sloth Glossiverium phoenicus. The remains include thousands of osteoderms, i.e., dermal bones, 3 of which were human-modified. In this study, we perform a trachyological analysis of these artifacts by optical microscopy, non-destructive scanning electron microscopy of visible photoluminescence and synchrotron-based microtomography. We also describe the spatial association between the giant sloth bone remains and stone tools and provide a Bayesian age model that confirms the timing of this association in 2 time horizons of the Pleistocene in Santa Helena. The conclusion from our archaeological study is that the three giant sloth osteoderms were intentionally modified into artifacts before fossilization of the bones. This provides additional evidence for the contemporaneity of humans and megafauna, and for the human manufacturing of personal artifacts on bone remains of ground sloths around the LGM in central Brazil. Most Pleistocene megafauna, here defined as mammals with body mass greater than 44 kg, became extinct worldwide by the Pleistocene-Holocene transition. The decline and eventual extinction of these megamammals are generally linked to human impact and climate change, but this is a still hotly debated topic for South America. Recent studies have raised new perspectives about human arrival in South America around the last glacial maximum, LGM, approx, as well as on its impact on the megafauna there. However, whereas it is currently well accepted that peopling of the Americas happened earlier than the Clovis culture, approx. 13,500 years ago, skepticism about human occupation of the Americas earlier than 16,000 years ago still persists. Questions regarding the timing and routes for human dispersal into the Americas remain open to debate, but human dispersal probably followed multiple routes and time frames, including Pacific coast and inland, ice-free corridor routes. In this scenario, late Pleistocene sites containing evidence of early human occupation in South America should be closely scrutinized with interest. The Santa Helena rock shelter, Mato Grosso State, Brazil, displays a rock panel rich in paintings including anthropomorphs, e.g. men with ornaments, and zoomorphs such as birds, deer, monkeys and tapir. Dated mineral pigments and bonfire structures associated with stone tools and megafaunal remains found in the shelter include late Pleistocene to the Holocene ages. The only Pleistocene megafauna present in the shelter are two extinct giant ground sloths of the species Glossivirium phoenicus carte, Diulis Boscani Pujos 2019-15, in two different archaeological layers. Although the bone remains occur in an archaeological context with other material elements of the culture, such as stone tools, they are found in a poor state of preservation, and we could not macroscopically observe any carnivore or cut marks. Along with the giant sloth bones, there are thousands of osteoderms, which are dermal bones once embedded within the skin of the animal. 3 osteoderms from the oldest layer of the shelter have previously been reported to have shapes consistent with anthropogenic modification. However, no deep investigation of these osteoderms has been performed to date, which has led some authors to question the credibility of these bone artifacts. Remains of bone, teeth and shells with human modification for ornamentation purposes may reflect social identity, and are commonly found in archaeological contexts from the Paleolithic worldwide. However, these records are rare in the late Quaternary of South America, as the zooarchaeological record for human exploitation of the Pleistocene megafauna in this continent is scarce. Previous publications on Santa Helena have demonstrated the relevance of this archaeological site for documenting human settlement in the continent. Here, we provide information on the spatial and temporal distribution of megafaunal artifacts and bones at Santa Helena and conduct the first detailed macroscopic and microscopic study of the anthropogenically modified osteoderms from this site in order to test the following hypotheses. Humans and megafauna cohabitated central Brazil around the LGM. Humans modified giant sloth osteoderm for cultural purposes other than subsistence. We provide a detailed investigation of the 3 modified giant sloth osteoderms using advanced non-destructive techniques. Our results offer new insights into megafaunal zooarchaeology in Pleistocene South America and the cultural behavior of some of the continent's earliest inhabitants. Santa Helena Rock Shelter in central Brazil, 22,310 23S 22,227 2402W is located in Serra das Araras, a Precambrian setting, Figure 1b. Excavations at the site have revealed successive human occupations, layered in 4 main units, Figure 1CD. Three methods: radiocarbon, uranium-thorium dating, UTH, and optical stimulated luminescence, OSL, have been used to date bone, charcoal, wood and quartz samples of Santa Elena. Detailed information about the archaeological layers and dating methods used to determine the age of the deposits can be found in previous publications and in our electronic supplementary material. Text S1. Fossil bones of ground sloths occur only in two layers, units IE1b, IE2 and IE3, IE296. Figure 1c, both in clear association with archaeological material, including stone tools and other mineral and rock artifacts. The modified osteoderms discussed here were recovered in unit IE4, at depths of 306, 319 and 323 cm. Oscil dating of quartz Z296 cm dates this unit to 25.12 thousand years ago, whereas UTH dating of osteoderm Z310 cm dates the same unit to 27.02 thousand years ago, and radiocarbon dating of microarchal from the same depth to 27,402 BP. Unit IE is separated from Unit E by a layer of limestone blocks and the absence of fireplace structures, lithics or F.